Hey guys, how's it going today? Back at it on the GT750. I've been kind of sick the past couple days, so hopefully I don't sound too bad. Don't cough too much on this video. This last week, I went ahead and polished up the tank. Side covers didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped, so I'm going to clean them up a little bit more. The tank, though, it's pretty beautiful. The paint, at least most of it, the top's still pretty sun-faded. Butchered, but other than that, it's just kind of really nice looking. Nice to have it back on at least. Just go over here. Get this going. Finally got the hoses in for the overflow tanks. I believe these are the same size hose, but as you can see, you really could get away with just buying this part number right here and calling that good, because I think it was $10 and then I was paying $5 for this, so save some money, just buy the longer hose and call it good. Got some little hose clamps for the bike as well, so I'm gonna get started on that real quick. Hopefully try to fix the turn signal issue that I had last time, as well as the battery cable, the ground cable, was a little warm, so I'm going to try to clean everything up and see if we can get it to where it has a little bit better grounding. Alright, so I took the control off here. As you can see, there is no action there. This one was working, that one was locked up. So, looks like I got some bugs that made homes in there and laid eggs. So what I'm going to do first thing is blow it out with some electric motive cleaner. And while it's drying, I'm going to take the gas tank off and try to figure out, get those overflow hoses set up, and then that way we can finish off with the antifreeze here. Get that all filled up and get it set, so I can at least be another step closer to firing the bad boy up. Get that cleaned up. That's pretty terrible. Probably should be wearing gloves for this stuff, but it is what it is right now. Yeah. Got it all over my clean tank. This spray. Usually I take these off and do this, but kind of trying to just see if it'll start first. If we can at least get it running. Clean that out. Right, oop, that plastic shielding just broke. Oh well. Well, again, I've kind of managed to mess up a lot of stuff here. So I went to go pull the hose off, and as you can see, it is packed full of corrosion, and it pulled off the radiator. So that's going to be a fun one to try to get this thing back down here. I think what I might try to do is to solder it. Hopefully that will work. But that means I'm going to have to drain the antifreeze again and redo everything I've done, or buy a new radiator, which I wasn't planning to do. I was really just hoping, again, to see if the bike will run before I put a ton of money into it and just start throwing money at it, because that can get expensive when you just start throwing money at stuff. So maybe I can epoxy it, one of the two. I'm going to try something here. Might try to epoxy it. I've had luck with that JB Weld on radiators before. Being this is an overflow, I might get pretty lucky. I can figure out which way it went now. Hopefully it's not too distorted. We'll see. I like the idea of soldering it, because that's a little bit more permanent. But I also like the idea of JB Weld because it'd be a little bit easier. So we'll get that top hose replaced and we'll kind of go from there. Let's see if I can ignition switch apart now that it's kind of somewhat dried up. Oh, dang it. Oh, that screw's not going to be playing fair. There we go. Had the wrong size. I bought these screwdrivers for working on older bikes. They are JICS or JCIS, whatever the Japanese screws used at the time. There's a set of 3. There's a P2 and a P1, and I have the P3 over on my toolbox. But you can smack them, you can get a wrench on them. They work very well. They don't strip out these heads as well bad. Really at all. I've been using them for a year or so now. I really like them. Okay, so it broke. The switch literally broke here. Well, alright, so I may be having to invest in some new switches for this bike. I can at least reset that to the center section. Might be able to glue that back together as well. But now that that is set, I don't know why this on-off doesn't work. Maybe it's set to on only for being an American bike. With the laws they had in the 70s, with having to have a running bike, or the running lights on the bike. I know my CB, it has the headlight is on all the time. Right screwdriver again. Alright. Have to look into how much used set of these. Maybe I can make 2 out of 1. Some paper towels. Clean the handlebars off there. Okay. That doesn't drop a bunch of dust down on it. Put this back up here. I don't know where the camera viewing. Put that like that. Get 1 screw in. Oh, darn it. Put the other screw in then. This rear screw was kind of loose when I took it out. Not going to worry about the handle or the switches too much. See what we can do about getting this started. I need to super glue or fix this situation, but I need to clean the tube out first as well. So I'll probably clean that up here. Get the top one situated, since that one's a little bit easier to get. These are kind of some screwy setups on this bike. I don't like these clips too much. I had some on a Goldwing on the fuel lines, and I ended up just putting worm gears on it. It's a lot easier to deal with. I didn't keep the Goldwing very long either. I bought it with the same guy I bought this bike from, this Gt750. This had been on his porch, and the Goldwing had set in his front yard. It took a couple of us to push it out of the hole that it had sunk in the yard when I went and got it. I don't know how much of the story I told you about this bike and how I got it, but I just randomly stopped at the garage sale. Check it out. See what the gentleman had. Hopefully these are a lot easier to go back together with. Oh, don't do that. Let's get a screwdriver and pry. That one looks a lot better. All right. Should twist off right there. All right. Okay, so I got the new hose. Situate these to where I can get to them. I don't want them both like this, I think. Again, I should have took a picture of this so I can see. Boy, that's a nice supple hose. It just... Yeah, that hose is too long. Dang it. Alright, oop. Shears out. This. Two links. All right. That's slipped on there. We'll get this side. Slipped on there. There we go. Doesn't look bad. Make sure that's on it. That's cinched on, and so this was up like this. It's probably pretty good. Alright guys, so I went ahead and put a little bit of super glue. Better angle of that, probably not. Super glue down there to hold it. I'm going to let that cure for overnight, and then tomorrow it will JB well. I went ahead and tried cranking it over a little bit. One thing I noticed was the ground strap started smoking a little bit, so went ahead and hit it on the wheel, cleaned that up. I did the same for the bolt that holds the battery ground strap. Something I noticed was my chokes are now locked up, so I shot a little WD-40 on them. Maybe I can loosen them back up. And still haven't got the oil pump primed yet, but that is on the list here. So, alright, that'll be it for now.